Here's the deal, Peter. You're crossing a line. That leaked audio of Tom Cruise's furious rant wasn't from a movie. It was real. Millions were shocked, but to insiders it was no surprise. From publicly slamming Brooke Shields over antidepressants to clashing with Matt Lauer about psychiatry, Cruise's intense outbursts have defined his off-screen persona. Now those same behaviors may be catching up with him. In this video, we uncover his most controversial moments and ask the question, could this finally be the moment Tom Cruise pays the ultimate price? Tom Cruise was born on July 3, 1962, in Syracuse, New York, and his early life was anything but easy. Moving 15 times in 14 years and battling dyslexia, Cruise developed the resilience that would define him. At 14, he even considered becoming a Catholic priest and joined a seminary, until a school play, Guys and Dolls, changed everything. A knee injury ended his wrestling dreams and pushed him fully into acting. At 18, with just $500 in his pocket, Cruise moved to New York City and gave himself 3 years to make it. He scraped by doing odd jobs, waiting tables, carrying luggage, and sometimes only had rice and ketchup for dinner. His big break came in 1983 with Risky Business. That iconic scene of him dancing in his underwear? Completely improvised. The film earned over $63 million and launched him into stardom, even landing him a Golden Globe nomination. But it was Top Gun in 1986 that turned Cruise into a global superstar. Playing Maverick, he trained in real F-14s. So intense, he vomited during flights. The movie soared, grossing $356 million worldwide, and sealed his place in Hollywood history. Top Gun didn't just crush the box office. It sparked a real-world wave. Navy recruitment soared by 500%, and Ray-Ban aviator sales jumped 40%. Ironically, Tom Cruise originally turned down the role 3 times. He only said yes when he learned he'd get to fly in real fighter jets, proof of his thrill-seeking nature and love for pushing limits. But Cruise wasn't content being just an action star. In 1986, he teamed up with Paul Newman in The Color of Money, directed by Martin Scorsese. Cruise held his own alongside a Hollywood legend, and the film earned Newman an Oscar. Then came Rain Man, 1988. Starring opposite Dustin Hoffman, Cruise played Charlie Babbitt, a selfish man who slowly grows close to his autistic brother. While Hoffman got most of the awards, Cruise's emotional evolution grounded the film. He prepared by studying autism and mastering pool tricks, and the film won 4 Oscars and made over $350 million. In Born on the 4th of July, 1989, Cruise portrayed real-life Vietnam vet Ron Kovich. He trained for a year, spent months in a wheelchair, and even suffered nerve damage. The result? His first Oscar nomination and a Golden Globe win. These roles proved Cruise wasn't just a star. He was a serious actor with unmatched dedication. The 1990s took Tom Cruise from star to superstar. He kicked off the decade with A Few Good Men, 1992, playing hotshot military lawyer Lieutenant Daniel Kaffee in a gripping courtroom drama. The film raked in over $243 million, and that legendary "You Can't Handle the Truth" scene with Jack Nicholson? It was rehearsed for weeks and nailed in just one take. The movie earned 4 Oscar nominations and proved Cruise could dominate dramatic roles. Then came Jerry Maguire in 1996. As a down-and-out sports agent searching for meaning, Cruise delivered one of his most heartfelt performances. The film made over $273 million, earned him his 2nd Oscar nod, and gave pop culture one of its most quoted lines, "Show me the money." Cruise and Cuba Gooding Jr. improvised the scene, turning it into pure movie magic. Behind the scenes, Cruise went all in, shadowing real agents, attending NFL games, and studying contracts. That same year, Mission, Impossible dropped, and Cruise was officially unstoppable. With the perfect balance of emotional depth and blockbuster energy, the 90s proved one thing loud and clear: Tom Cruise was in a league of his own. On the personal front, Tom Cruise's marriage to Nicole Kidman was one of Hollywood's most talked-about romances of the 1990s. The two met on the set of Days of Thunder in 1989 and tied the knot on Christmas Eve, 1990. Their love story seemed like a fairy tale, and together they adopted two children, Isabella in 1992 and Connor in 1995, after facing fertility struggles. Kidman later revealed she suffered an ectopic pregnancy early on and a heartbreaking miscarriage near the end of their marriage. The couple's chemistry extended to the screen, starring together in Days of Thunder, Far and Away, 1992, and the haunting Eyes Wide Shut, 1999. But filming Eyes Wide Shut took a toll. The production dragged on for over 400 days, keeping them isolated in England and far from their children. Despite the personal strain, by the end of the decade, Cruise was at the peak of his powers. His films weren't just box office hits. They earned critical praise too, cementing him as one of the most bankable and respected actors in Hollywood. Tom Cruise cemented his status as a full-fledged action icon with Mission: Impossible, which exploded into theaters on May 22, 1996. Based on the 1966 TV classic, the film was a massive gamble, but Cruise went all in. Not only did he star as IMF agent Ethan Hunt, he also produced the film through his new company, Cruise Wagner Productions. Determined to make it unforgettable, Cruise insisted on doing his own stunts. That iconic vault scene, where he dangles inches above the floor on a wire, it took 15 days to perfect, with real sweat dripping down his face to ramp up the tension. The film had a hefty $80 million budget, but the risk paid off. It shattered Memorial Day box office records with a $45.4 million opening and went on to gross over $457 million worldwide, making it one of 1996's biggest hits. More importantly, it launched one of the most successful action franchises in history. As the Mission: Impossible series evolved, so did Cruise's commitment to death-defying stunts. He scaled the Burj Khalifa in Ghost Protocol 2011 and clung to a flying airplane in Rogue Nation 2015. The adrenaline was real, and so was the audience's awe. Behind the scenes, Cruise was just as bold. He co-founded Cruise at Wagner Productions in 1992, giving him rare creative control. For Mission: Impossible, he struck a groundbreaking deal with Paramount, 22% of the film's profits. He had a say in everything, from picking directors to designing action sequences. For Mission: Impossible 2, 2000, he chose John Woo to direct, and the film dominated the year with over $546 million at the box office. Cruise wasn't just starring in blockbusters, he was building them. Tom Cruise wasn't just a star, he was a powerhouse behind the scenes too. Through his production company, Cruise Wagner Productions, he delivered hits like The Others, 2001, Vanilla Sky, 2001, and War of the Worlds, 2005. By 2006, the company's films had grossed an impressive $2.9 billion. But fame came with controversy. That same year, Paramount ended their partnership with Cruise, citing concerns over his outspoken behavior, including his comments on psychiatry and devotion to Scientology. Still, Cruise didn't miss a beat. He rebounded quickly with a deal at MGM to revive United Artists, proving he was still a major player in Hollywood. Throughout his career, Cruise teamed up with legendary directors. In Eyes Wide Shut, 1999, he worked with the iconic Stanley Kubrick. The film took over 400 days to shoot, making it the longest continuous production in film history. Cruise and then wife Nicole Kidman relocated to England for 2 years to complete the project, which explored complex themes of marriage and desire. Though controversial at the time, it's now hailed as a cinematic masterpiece. With Steven Spielberg, Cruise struck gold twice. First with Minority Report 2002, where he acted against blank blue screens while visual effects were added later, and again in War of the Worlds 2005, a $600 million blockbuster. Spielberg praised Cruise's dedication. He stayed on set even when not filming, just to learn more about the process. In true Cruise fashion, he performed many of his own stunts, including sprinting through chaos as debris fell from the sky. Even in the 2000s, Cruise dominated the box office. Mission Impossible 2 crushed it as the highest-grossing movie of 2000, outperforming even Gladiator. In 2005, Tom Cruise weathered backlash from his infamous Oprah interview, but War of the Worlds still became a massive hit. He then showed his comedic chops in Tropic Thunder 2008, earning a Golden Globe nod. Even after Paramount ended their deal with him, Cruise bounced back with bold roles, like playing a Nazi officer in Valkyrie, a film that defied expectations and earned strong reviews. Off-screen, his personal life drew just as much attention. His 2001 divorce from Nicole Kidman shocked fans. They had just renewed their vows 2 months before announcing the split. Tragically, Kidman was unknowingly pregnant and later suffered a miscarriage. Cruise cited irreconcilable differences and requested joint custody of their adopted children, Isabella and Connor. The divorce wrapped up in just 11 months, sparking rumors and questions. One theory? Scientology. As a devoted follower, Cruise reportedly believed Kidman was a suppressive person, a term used in the church to label someone as toxic. A former Scientology executive later claimed the church encouraged the kids to distance themselves from her. The split also came with a jaw-dropping $33 million settlement for Kidman, one of Hollywood's biggest at the time. During their divorce, Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman had to divide multi-million-dollar homes in Sydney, LA, and Colorado. Both kept quiet about the real reasons behind the split. But in 2006, Kidman admitted it blindsided her, calling it a shock to my system. Despite the heartbreak, she bounced back, winning an Oscar for The Hours in 2003. Cruise, meanwhile, faced growing criticism over his ties to Scientology and how it seemed to affect his personal life. Then came another whirlwind romance, this time with Katie Holmes. Just a month after her breakup with Chris Klein, Holmes began dating Cruise. 7 weeks later, he infamously jumped on Oprah's couch declaring his love. By June 2005, he proposed at the Eiffel Tower with a $275,000 ring. Their $3 million wedding took place in an Italian castle, complete with a star-studded guest list and a Scientology minister officiating the ceremony. But soon, rumors swirled. Holmes was said to be constantly accompanied by a Scientology chaperone and appeared more withdrawn. While they smiled on red carpets, insiders said the marriage was unraveling. On June 29, 2012, Holmes filed for divorce. Cruise was blindsided, reportedly learning the news while filming in Iceland. Just 11 days later, the divorce was finalized, fast enough to spark speculation. Holmes gained primary custody of their daughter Suri, while Cruise was granted visitation rights. But in the years that followed, reports claimed he rarely saw her, sometimes going months without contact. Tom Cruise's journey with Scientology began in 1986, introduced by his first wife, Mimi Rogers, a dedicated member of the church. At the time, Cruise was battling dyslexia, and Scientology's study tech claimed to help with learning disabilities. He credited it with overcoming his struggles, which deepened his trust in the church. By 1990, just 4 years in, he had already reached the significant milestone of clear, showing how committed he had become. Even after his divorce from Mimi, Cruz's loyalty to Scientology only grew. By the early 2000s, he wasn't just a follower, he was the face of the religion. He used his celebrity status to promote its teachings, but it didn't come without controversy. In 2005, he made headlines for jumping on Oprah's couch while professing his love for Katie Holmes, a moment many linked to his extreme beliefs. That same year, he clashed with Matt Lauer on The Today Show, calling psychiatry a pseudoscience and slamming actress Brooke Shields for using antidepressants, statements that drew heavy backlash. Cruz also tried recruiting other stars like Will Smith and David Beckham into the church, with mixed results. In 2003, he even opened a Scientology mission in his hometown of Syracuse, New York, cementing his role as one of the church's most high-profile ambassadors. By 2008, Tom Cruise's deep ties to Scientology sparked one of his biggest controversies. A leaked video showed him passionately praising the church, claiming it could cure addiction and crime. He also made aggressive comments about psychiatry, saying, "Crush these guys. No mercy." The intense tone shocked viewers and made Cruz seem unhinged. The video surfaced just days before a critical book about his Scientology connections dropped, leading many to believe the timing wasn't a coincidence. Though the church tried to scrub the footage, it had already gone viral, further damaging Cruz's public image. Scientology also took a toll on his personal life. His marriage to Nicole Kidman ended in 2001, reportedly because she wasn't fully on board with the church. Former members later claimed Scientology tried to turn their children against her. Years later, his marriage to Katie Holmes faced similar struggles. Holmes was reportedly concerned about how the church might influence their daughter, Suri. When she filed for divorce in 2012, rumors swirled that the settlement included terms to shield Suri from Scientology. And then, there was the infamous Oprah moment. On May 23, 2005, Cruz appeared on The Oprah Winfrey Show to promote War of the Worlds. But the focus quickly shifted to his new romance with 26-year-old Katie Holmes. In front of a stunned audience, the 42-year-old actor jumped on Oprah's couch, pumped his fists, and shouted, "I'm in love!" Oprah's reaction said it all. "The boy is gone." It became one of the most talked about and parodied TV moments of the decade. Tom Cruise's infamous couch-jumping moment on Oprah shocked fans, not because of what he said, but how he said it. Known for being calm and calculated, Cruise's over-the-top display felt wildly out of character. Though his excitement over Katie Holmes seemed genuine, it also came off as unhinged. The phrase "jumping the couch" quickly went viral. Within a week, over 1,700 articles covered the incident, and the clip racked up more than 14 million views on YouTube. The fallout was swift. Cruise's likability took a major hit. His Q score dropped from 48 to 31, a huge decline for any A-lister. By August 2006, Paramount Pictures ended their 14-year partnership with Cruise's production company, citing his erratic behavior as one of the reasons. The decision may have cost him millions. But the drama didn't stop there. Just a month after the Oprah incident, Cruise stirred more outrage when he criticized actress Brooke Shields for using antidepressants to treat postpartum depression. In an Access Hollywood interview, he dismissed psychiatry as pseudoscience and claimed women should rely on vitamins and exercise instead of medication. The comments sparked massive backlash and further cemented Cruise's reputation as Hollywood's most controversial star. Brooke Shields had just released her memoir, Down Came the Rain, a raw account of her battle with postpartum depression, when Tom Cruise criticized her for using antidepressants. Shields fired back with a scathing op-ed in the New York Times on July 1, 2005. Writing, "I'm going to take a wild guess and say that Mr. Cruise has never suffered from postpartum depression." The piece struck a nerve, racking up 1.2 million views in a single day. Just days earlier, on June 28th, Cruise had appeared on The Today Show to promote War of the Worlds, but the conversation quickly veered off course. Host Matt Lauer brought up Cruise's comments about Shields, and things got tense fast. Cruise's demeanor shifted. Leaning forward, visibly agitated, he declared, "I've never agreed with psychiatry, ever." Over the next 9 minutes, Cruise interrupted Lauer 11 times, called him glib, and insisted, "You don't know the history of psychiatry. I do." At one point, he leaned in so close it felt confrontational, even challenging Lauer to explain how Ritalin works. The segment, watched by 5.5 million people, sparked a national debate about mental health and medication. More than a year later, on August 31st, 2006, Cruise showed up at Brooke Shields' home to apologize in person. The meeting lasted over an hour. Shields later revealed that Cruise expressed sincere regret, and to make amends, he sent her a Christmas cake every year for the next 5 years. 3 years after his intense showdown with Matt Lauer, Tom Cruise returned to The Today Show on December 15, 2008. But this time, viewers saw a different man. Calm, composed, and humble, Cruise addressed the controversy head-on. "I came across as arrogant," he admitted. "I absolutely could have handled that better." It was a rare public acknowledgement of fault from a star known for his control, and it earned him some much-needed goodwill. But Cruise's battle with controversy wasn't over. On December 15, 2020, exactly 12 years to the day of his Today Show apology, Cruise found himself back in the headlines, this time for an explosive moment caught on tape. A leaked audio recording from the set of Mission Impossible 7 revealed Cruise shouting at crew members who violated COVID-19 protocols by standing too close to each other. And it wasn't just a stern warning, it was a full-blown tirade. In the recording, Cruise could be heard swearing 37 times, with the F word flying 21 times in under 2 minutes. His fury wasn't about ego, it was about safety and responsibility. "We are the gold standard," he shouted. "They're making movies in Hollywood right now because of us. We are creating thousands of jobs. You expletive!" The clip went viral, racking up over 10 million views in just 48 hours. A public opinion poll showed that 58% of people supported Cruise, saying he was right to defend COVID safety protocols on set. But 42% thought he went too far, calling his tone abusive and over the top. Regardless of where people stood, one thing was undeniable. Tom Cruise was still as passionate, intense, and headline-grabbing as ever. Whether he's apologizing on national TV or demanding discipline on a movie set, Cruise remains a force who refuses to be ignored. After Tom Cruise's explosive COVID rant on the Mission Impossible 7 set, the backlash was swift. 5 crew members reportedly quit on the spot. But surprisingly, his strict rules seemed to pay off. Out of the 500 cast and crew members, only 12 tested positive during the entire shoot. The production never shut down again. In May 2021, Cruise finally addressed the incident in an interview. "I said what I said," he stated firmly. There was a lot at stake at that point. He clarified that his anger was directed at a few individuals, not the entire team, and that his priority was keeping the set safe and operational. His tone was unapologetic, but measured. For Cruise, it was about leadership under pressure. Tom Cruise's intense work ethic isn't limited to safety protocols. It also extends to how he treats his cast and crew. Many who've worked with him describe a surprisingly generous, hands-on star. On the set of Jerry Maguire, 1996, Cruise spent hours bonding with young co-star Jonathan Lipnicki, playing games between takes to make the child actor feel comfortable. It's stories like these that have built Cruise's reputation as a fiercely committed and surprisingly warm collaborator. but not all of his on-set relationships have been smooth. During the filming of Interview with the Vampire, 1994, Cruise reportedly clashed with Brad Pitt. Pitt later admitted the experience made him miserable, calling the set gloomy and the atmosphere depressing with no end in sight. Their tension became one of the film's most whispered about behind-the-scenes stories. Then there's Cruise's legendary dedication to stunt work, where myth often meets reality. On The Last Samurai, 2003, he insisted on using real swords during combat scenes, barely avoiding serious injury when a co-star swung too fast. And for Mission Impossible, Rogue Nation, 2015, Cruise pushed his limits even further, training for months to hold his breath underwater for more than 6 minutes for a single jaw-dropping stunt. During the making of Top Gun: Maverick 2022, Tom Cruise wasn't just a movie star, he was a commander. He demanded that all actors playing pilots undergo intense military-style training, including flying in real fighter jets. When one actor started to back out due to motion sickness, Cruise reportedly looked him dead in the eye and said, "If you don't do it, you're fired." That's how seriously he takes authenticity, and it's why his films feel so real. But even with all that intensity, Cruise still finds moments to laugh. While filming Edge of Tomorrow, 2014, Emily Blunt remembered a scene where Cruise asked her to slap him harder. She did, so hard it shocked them both, and the whole crew burst out laughing. It was a rare moment of levity from someone known for pushing everything to the edge. These behind-the-scenes stories show what makes Tom Cruise unique: his passion, his fearlessness, and his relentless drive to make every scene unforgettable. But here's the twist. What happens when that same intensity starts to blur the line between hero and control freak? Don't miss what's coming next.